Hello, fellow Lexophiles. It's Elizabeth here with another poetry break. This month, I'll be sharing poems with you around the theme of food. So let's get started. Our first poem is Beggars Song by Gregory Orr. Here's a seed, food for a week. Cow skull in the pasture, back room where the brain was, spacious hut for me. Small then and smaller, my desires to stay alive and be no larger than a sliver lodged in my own heart. And if the heart's a rock, I'll whack it with this tin cup and eat the sparks, always screaming for more. Our next one is called The Cafe Filter by Paul Blackburn. Slowly and with persistence, he eats away at the big steak, gobbles up the asparagus, its butter and salt and root taste, drinks at a glass of red wine, and carefully, taking his time, mops up the gravy with bread. The top of the cafe filter is copper, passively shines back, and between mouthfuls of steak, sips of wine, he remembers, at intervals too, with the flat of his hand, the top removed, bang, at the apparatus, create the suction that the water will fall more quickly through. Across the tiles of the floor, the cat comes to the table again. I've already given you one piece of steak. What do you want from me now, love? He strokes her head, her rounded black pregnant head. Her greedy front paws slip from his knee, the pearl of great price ignored. She's bored. He bangs the filter again. Its top is copper, passively shining back. Food and wine nearly finished, he lifts the whole apparatus off the cup. Merciful God, will it never be done? Too cold, all ready to add cream and sugar. He offers the last piece of steak with his fingers. She accepts it with calm dignity, even delicacy. The coffee goes down at a gulp. It is black and lukewarm. Our next poem is called The Feed by M.L. Smoker. Several of my cousins lean up against the house, taking long drags from the pack of Marlboros we share. We have always been this way, addicted and generous. A powwow tape plays from inside the open garage, where two old uncles are thinking to themselves in the safety of its shadows. Our aunties are in the kitchen preparing the boiled meat and choke cherry soup and laughing about old jokes they hang on to, because these things are a matter of survival. Outside, we ask about who was driving around with who last night, where so-and-so got beat up, whose girlfriend left him for someone else. But she'll go back to him, we all think to ourselves. Aunties carry the full pots and pans to the picnic table. An uncle prays over our food in Assiniboine. We all want to forget that we don't understand this language. We spend lots of time trying to forget in different ways. No one notices that the wild turnips are still simmering in a pot on the stove. Our next poem is Flour is Firm by Sandra Beasley. Baking 2 parts flour to 1 part water could stop a bullet. So good soldiers carried their hardtack over their hearts. Break it down with a rifle butt, flood it, fry it in pig fat to make hellfire stew. Gnaw it raw and praise the juice. Does wheat prepare for this as it grows, seeking the light in a half-thawed field? Do stalks know their strength is merely in their number? What is ground down we name flour in promise that it will be made useful. Otherwise, it's just dust. Sheet iron crackers, teeth dullers. Would you call it starving if a man dies with hardtack still tucked in his pocket? Can you call it food if the bullet comes only at the moment he gives in and swallows? Our next poem is Lychee Express by Adrian Sue. What would the lovely Yang Gufei, concubine to the emperor, a Helen of China, have made of our gleaming grocery stores, always awash in berries, melons, tangerines? Her passion for lychees, rushed north by a chain of horsemen, laid waste to a dynasty. She must have understood, at least upon the deadly finale, the cost of transporting food so fragile over so many li, for pleasure, not necessity, while the kingdom faltered. History wants a great beauty to undermine a ruler through human weakness. And who of highest power would deny his most loved mistress her longing for a flavor available briefly, far away? There's something classical about her appetite, about the chain of sweating couriers, thirsty, fearful of bruising the delicate fruit. It proves how far we've come. Those tiny stickers with PLUs and far-flung nations of origin, so common we decry the waste. The good peasants of antiquity always ate locally, if at a cost of variety and under tyranny. Neither they nor we would refuse a bunch of ripe lychees in December. Neither they nor we get to choose who would eat humbly, who like an emperor. And I think that will do it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.